As the day gently recedes, leaving behind its myriad demands and the insistent hum of activity, you find yourself here, perhaps settling into the comforting embrace of your bed, or simply seeking a quiet moment of reprieve. This is a space for unwinding, for allowing the relentless pace of the world to soften into a gentle background murmur. In these moments of stillness, when your breath deepens and your thoughts begin to drift, there's a peculiar truth that often goes unacknowledged, a profound dynamic at play that continues its steady, unwavering rhythm, irrespective of our conscious engagement. Consider the very essence of time itself. It is the most democratic and ceaseless force in the universe, an eternal current that flows onward moment by moment without pause or preference. Even as you lie here, enveloped in the quietude of this evening, even as your body prepares for restorative depths of sleep, that unseen clock continues its inexorable advance. It ticks on, marking the passage of seconds, minutes, and hours, a constant, unyielding pulse that defines our existence. We often perceive our lives in terms of action, of doing, of active pursuit. We measure productivity by visible effort, by tangible outcomes, by the sheer force of our will applied to the task before us. Yet, what if there was a deeper understanding, a more subtle truth about growth and prosperity that unfolds not through frantic exertion, but through the very act of allowing, of trusting the quiet progression of time? This evening, we embark on a journey not through bustling marketplaces or clamorous battlefields, but into the quiet corridors of perception, inviting you to reconsider your relationship with this fundamental force. It's an exploration designed to gently shift your perspective, to unveil how even in moments of profound stillness, a silent, powerful alchemy is at work. We will delve into the whispers of ancient wisdom, into the practices of those who, long before our modern anxieties, understood that the most potent seeds of success are often sown not in haste, but in the patient, almost imperceptible unfolding of time. They knew that true growth wasn't always about what you did in the waking hours, but about what the universe allowed to happen through its own steady, unwavering tempo. This isn't merely a tale to lull you to sleep. It's an invitation to align your own internal rhythm with the greater, more patient pulse of existence. It's about recognizing that the potential for expansion, for abundance, for a deeper sense of well-being doesn't cease when your eyes close or when your mind drifts into tranquility. On the contrary, these very moments of calm, of letting go, can be the most fertile ground for unseen forces to gather strength, to weave their intricate patterns of emergence. You might be surprised to discover that some of life's most profound transformations, including those related to your financial landscape, are not results of hurried intervention, but rather the quiet, persistent work of time itself, diligently operating in the background, even as you simply breathe and allow. So, as you settle deeper into this moment, allow your mind to open to a different kind of understanding. Let go of the need to push, to control, to hurry. Instead, consider the possibility that a vast, benevolent process is unfolding, even now, working in your favor, steadily cultivating the seeds of tomorrow's harvest. This story will gently guide you perceive that hidden dimension, to feel the quiet power of duration, and to trust in the wisdom that time, left to its own devices, is often the most powerful architect of prosperity. Prepare to uncover insights that might change how you view your most tranquil moments, transforming rest from an absence of activity into a profound act of cultivation, a silent partnership with the ceaseless current of life's unfolding bounty. Now, let us journey back to the annals of history, to an era when the rhythms of life were intrinsically linked to the grand, unhurried pulse of the cosmos. Across sun-drenched plains and by the banks of life-giving rivers, ancient civilizations harbored a profound reverence for time, not as a fleeting commodity, but as a silent, powerful partner in their endeavors. Consider, for instance, the ingenious wisdom of the Egyptians. Their very survival was predicated on the Nile's predictable inundations and the careful, cyclical cultivation of their crops. They understood that planting seeds too early or harvesting too late would yield famine. Their success lay in a precise, almost spiritual alignment with the lunar cycles, observing the subtle shifts in the heavens to determine the optimal moments for sowing and reaping. The rich, fertile soil once tilled and seeded was then entrusted to the patient hands of time. While the farmers rested, while their villages slept under the vast, star-pricked sky, the earth itself was at work, nurturing the burgeoning life beneath its surface, transforming humble seeds into the sustenance of an empire. This wasn't passive waiting. It was an active surrender to a natural, unstoppable process, a profound recognition that some of the most vital growth unfolds in the quiet hours beyond immediate gaze. Shifting our gaze eastward, across towering mountains and bustling trade routes, we find a parallel understanding in the shrewd practices of ancient Chinese merchants. Far from the modern rush, these astute entrepreneurs knew that the dawn, when the world was still cloaked in a serene hush, offered a unique strategic advantage. While competitors slumbered, these individuals would meticulously prepare, analyze, and, in that tranquil stillness, forge critical agreements or dispatch caravans laden with goods, capitalizing on the unhurried calm before the day's frenetic energy took hold. The early morning hours, often perceived as time for rest, were for them a period of unparalleled clarity and strategic action, allowing them to gain an imperceptible lead that would compound throughout the day and week. It wasn't about more hours of labor, but about leveraging the quality of time, understanding that certain windows of opportunity, opened by the turning of the earth itself, offered a distinct kind of leverage. Yet, the most explicit testament to time's silent industriousness emerges in the sophisticated financial mechanisms that began to take root in Europe. Here, the concept of compound interest, the very foundation of modern finance, was meticulously developed and harnessed. Imagine the early European bankers, understanding that a sum of money once invested could generate its own earnings, and that these earnings, in turn, could generate further earnings, like ripples expanding across a pond. This wasn't merely about lending and repayment. It was about trusting an intrinsic mathematical principle, a quiet, exponential growth fueled by nothing more than the passage of days and years. The capital, once set in motion, worked tirelessly and unobtrusively, accumulating wealth even as the investor pursued other ventures, or indeed, slept soundly through the night. It is a profound illustration that resources, when strategically positioned, can proliferate and deepen their value through the sheer, persistent work of time, without direct, constant intervention. These diverse historical threads weave a common narrative, an acknowledgement that growth, particularly robust and enduring growth, is often a product of patient cultivation and an astute partnership with time. It's a delicate balance between active intention and intelligent surrender. Beyond mere anecdote, this collective wisdom whispers an essential truth. Our lives, much like a fertile field or a well-placed investment, possess an inherent capacity for expansion that continues silently in the background. Consequently, the greatest acts of prosperity are sometimes those moments when we step back, allowing the conditions we meticulously set to mature, trusting in the ineluctable process that unfolds when we simply give time the space to work its magic. It's about planting seeds, be it knowledge, savings, or intentions, and then letting the unseen currents of existence carry them forward, allowing the fruits to ripen in their own season, often while we are engaging in a restorative act of rest. The quietude, therefore, is not an interruption of progress, but often its most profound enabler. Beyond the immediate echoes of human endeavors, a deeper, more fundamental illustration of time's silent industriousness manifests in the very architecture of our world. Consider, if you will, the majestic sequoia trees, standing for centuries, perhaps even millennia. Each year, they add another imperceptible ring to their core, slowly accumulating mass and strength, transforming sunlight and water into colossal timber. Their growth is not an act of hurried urgency, but a testament to relentless, patient accumulation, unfolding across generations without any conscious human intervention. Or picture the formation of a diamond, a process requiring immense pressure and an unimaginable span of geological time. Its intrinsic value is not forged in a moment, but meticulously constructed over eons, an exquisite crystallization born of profound stillness and the ceaseless turning of the earth. These natural wonders embody a spectacular truth. Some of the most profound increases in value, whether biological or mineral, occur through an extended, largely unobserved period of existence, where the simple fact of being allows for an extraordinary transformation. Indeed, this principle extends beyond the purely natural realm, finding potent parallels in the cultivation of certain human treasures. Take, for instance, the maturation of a fine vintage wine or meticulously aged whiskey. The true essence, The depth of flavor and the heightened market value are not achieved through constant manipulation or immediate consumption. Instead, they're the direct result of a patient, hands-off approach, where the liquid is left undisturbed in dark cellars for years, sometimes decades. Here, time itself acts as the master alchemist, subtly transforming raw ingredients into something exponentially more complex, refined, and cherished. The rest in the barrel is not an absence of process, but the very condition for its perfection, a clear indication that some forms of prosperity are best nurtured through disciplined patience and minimal interference. Furthermore, a strikingly similar profound lesson can be drawn from the contemporary landscape of investment, particularly in strategies that champion the buy and hold philosophy. Many astute investors find their greatest successes not through daily market watching or frantic trading, but by committing to assets for the long haul. They recognize that market fluctuations, while often alarming in the short term, tend to smooth out over extended periods. By resisting the impulse to react to every dip and surge, by allowing their capital to remain invested and simply exist in the market, they leverage the silent power of compounding returns and inherent asset appreciation. In this context, rest is not merely physical repose, but an intellectual and emotional discipline, a conscious decision to let time work its magic, filtering out the noise and allowing fundamental growth to manifest. It underscores that sometimes the most profitable action is to take no immediate action at all, trusting the slow, upward drift of economic tides. Crucially, embracing this philosophy also reshapes our own behavior and inner landscape. In an era that constantly demands activity and immediate results, the concept of allowing time to cultivate growth can feel counterintuitive. Yet, consider the mental clarity and strategic advantage gained when one is not constantly striving to intervene. Just as a garden thrives with intelligent care but withers under incessant tinkering, so too do our financial and personal endeavors benefit from periods of deliberate non-intervention. This allows for an unconscious processing of information, the emergence of novel perspectives, and the strengthening of underlying foundations without the pressure of constant oversight. It cultivates a sense of calm confidence, understanding that while you are resting, the world continues its rotation, and the seeds you've sown continue their silent journey towards fruition. What's more, the benefits of allowing time to work its magic aren't confined solely to tangible assets or financial instruments. Think about the profound, almost invisible accumulation of reputation, skill, or wisdom. These are not acquired through single, dramatic efforts, but through consistent, persistent engagement over time. Each small act of learning, each interaction that builds trust, each problem solved, subtly adds to an ever-growing reservoir of personal capital. Even when you are not actively working on these aspects, the cumulative effect of past efforts continues to solidify and enhance their value, influencing future opportunities and recognition. It's a testament to how even our intangible wealth, our professional and personal standing, is deeply indebted to the quiet, ceaseless work of time, building upon itself even as we step back for reflection, for rejuvenation, or for the deep, restorative peace of a good night's sleep. As your thoughts drift gently, consider for a moment the remarkable power of creation that, once brought into existence, continues to yield returns without your constant, active oversight. Think of a well-crafted piece of software, perhaps an application you use daily, or a digital service that streamlines some part of your life. Its development demanded intense focus, skill, and time up front. Yet, once launched and maintained, that creation generates revenue, serves its purpose, and continues to operate ceaselessly long after its initial architect have moved on to other projects or are indeed resting. It's a magnificent illustration of an investment of effort that, over time, transforms into a self-sustaining engine of value, working diligently in the background even as you sleep, much like a silent, tireless associate. Similarly, cast your mind toward the world of intellectual property. A writer dedicates months, even years, to perfecting a novel. A musician pours her soul into composing an album. An inventor meticulously patents a groundbreaking design. These creations, once manifested, possess an inherent capacity to generate royalties, licensing fees, or continuous income streams for decades. The initial burst of intense, creative labor sets the stage, but it is a passage of time that truly unlocks their enduring financial potential. The revenue from a classic song plays on radio stations for generations, accumulating value through the simple fact of its continued existence and appreciation, without requiring the artist to perform anew each time. Doesn't this offer a profound perspective on how your earlier efforts can silently continue to bear fruit, compounding their worth as the clock steadily advances? This phenomenon extends, too, to the very systems we build around ourselves. Imagine establishing an automated online store or setting up a robust rental property portfolio. These ventures require significant initial planning, investment, and execution. However, once operational, they function as independent entities, collecting rent or processing sales transactions while you might be engaged in completely different pursuits or simply unwinding after a long day. The infrastructure, once meticulously laid, becomes a conduit through which value flows consistently, accumulating and expanding, often without your direct moment-to-moment involvement. It begs the question, how many such systems or creations can you cultivate in your life, empowering time to become your most diligent and persistent ally in the quest for lasting prosperity? The deeper wisdom here lies in recognizing that certain forms of endeavor are not transactional, but transformational. They shift your relationship with effort from a perpetual sprint to a strategic, patient marathon. By channeling energy into building these enduring assets, whether they are digital tools, creative works, or foundational financial setups, you're not merely earning an income, you're effectively constructing conduits for time itself to work in your favor. This frees up your mental and emotional bandwidth, allowing you to cultivate deeper relationships, pursue passions, or simply enjoy the precious stillness of the evening. It's an embrace of leverage, where your past decisions and creations continue to work on your behalf, steadily expanding possibilities, even when your conscious mind is at rest. As you reflect on these subtle yet powerful currents, remember this is a story for winding down, for allowing your understanding to deepen in a gentle, unhurried way. It's a quiet observation of the world, much like watching the tide come in and out, knowing that vast, unseen forces are at play, shaping and reshaping the landscape without needing your active direction. The idea that financial well-being can be cultivated through intelligent design and patient allowance, rather than relentless struggle, offers a profoundly peaceful alternative. What if the most effective way to secure your financial future isn't through more frantic doing, but through a conscious choice to establish systems and creations that continue their silent, productive work, even while you are finding solace in the quietude of this bedtime story? As your awareness expands, consider the often underestimated power of sustained, incremental action in cultivating what might be termed relational capital. A single moment of genuine listening, a thoughtful outreach to a colleague, or a sincere offer of assistance. These individual interactions, when consistently and authentically offered over months and years, gradually weave a robust tapestry of trust and reciprocal support. This isn't about immediate gain. Rather, it's about diligently laying foundational threads, each one adding to an invisible but immensely valuable network. This accumulated goodwill quietly opens doors to unforeseen collaborations, mentorships, and opportunities that spring forth, not from direct solicitation, but from the deep roots of established human connection that time has allowed to flourish. Building on this, reflect on the profound transformation of raw aptitude into genuine mastery. The dedicated hours spent practicing a complex skill, the patient unraveling of intricate problems, the absorption of specialized knowledge. Each instance, in isolation, might appear insignificant. However, the relentless aggregation of these small efforts, patiently pursued over extended durations, sharpens capabilities to an extraordinary degree. This deep expertise, painstakingly forged through consistent application, in the passage of time, transcends mere competence, becoming a rare and highly valued asset. Its eventual financial recognition is not a sudden windfall, but the inevitable harvest of years spent in deliberate, unhurried cultivation, a testament to time's role in refining talent. Furthermore, contemplate the subtle yet powerful construction of one's professional reputation. Every commitment upheld, every task executed with integrity, every instance of reliability, regardless of its scale, contributes to an ever-strengthening perception of your character and capabilities. Over an extended period, this unwavering consistency generates a bedrock of credibility that inherently attracts respect and opens pathways. It functions as an unspoken endorsement, allowing future endeavors to commence from a position of established trust. significantly reducing initial barriers. This particular form of capital, meticulously assembled through countless small acts over time, empowers future opportunities to unfold with greater ease and recognition. Interestingly, even periods of intentional quietude and seemingly unproductive rest contribute significantly to this silent compounding. When you consciously step away from active engagement, your mind continues to process, synthesize, and connect disparate pieces of information on a subconscious level. This latent integration, often occurring during sleep, meditation, or simple relaxation, frequently gives rise to breakthrough insights, innovative solutions, and clearer strategic perspectives. It is during these moments of mental stillness that complex challenges can untangle themselves, and nascent ideas are allowed the space to fully coalesce. Far from being idle, this period of quiet processing, nurtured by time and the absence of immediate pressure, acts as a powerful, almost stealthy accelerator of future success. Consequently, as you settle into comforting rhythm of this bedtime story, recognize that the very act of allowing and trusting in the passage of time is a highly sophisticated form of strategic engagement. It embodies a deep understanding that consistent inputs, however modest, when granted the gift of time, will inevitably yield substantial and enduring outcomes. Your ongoing growth, across various facets of your life, is a continuous process that often transcends your immediate, conscious awareness. This understanding fosters a tranquil confidence, offering serene assurance that even as you find solace in this peaceful interlude, the foundations you've laid, be they in relationships, skills, or reputation, are silently strengthening, deepening their roots, and preparing for a more abundant future. This profound perspective highlights how time, your most steadfast ally, is diligently working on your behalf, even as you simply rest. As we continue our gentle exploration, allow your mind to drift in harmony with your slow, steady breath. Let's consider another profound aspect of time's unwavering presence. Imagine the vast, intricate tapestry of human innovation and societal progress. Individual breakthroughs, while celebrated, often form part of a larger, cumulative upward trajectory. Entire economies, over the span of decades and centuries, tend to expand, driven by collective ingenuity, demographic shifts, and the relentless march of technological advancement. This expansive force, almost like an invisible tide, lifts countless vessels. When you position yourself to participate broadly in this grand collective movement, rather than betting on single, isolated ventures, you align your potential for growth with the fundamental optimism of human progress itself. Isn't it fascinating to consider how a quiet trust in this overarching dynamic can be a powerful engine for your own prosperity? Indeed, this philosophy extends beyond merely participating in broad economic currents. Picture assets that, once acquired, generate continuous, smaller distributions of value, almost like tiny tributaries constantly feeding a larger river. These could be regular shares of a company's profits or steady income from a diverse array of managed funds. When these consistent, modest sums are then automatically channeled back into acquiring more of these income-generating assets, a subtle yet incredibly potent cycle begins. It creates a self-sustaining loop, where the income you earn while you're busy with other aspects of your life, or perhaps while you're simply enjoying the piece of this bedtime story, is diligently working on your behalf, silently growing the very source from which it sprang. Moreover, consider the profound foresight embedded in institutions designed for perpetuity, such as educational endowments or charitable foundations. These entities are crafted not for short-term gains, but to thrive across generations. Initial substantial capital is invested with a long-term vision, not to be spent, but to generate enduring returns. The principal sum remains largely untouched, acting as a steadfast anchor, while the income consistently produces fund scholarships, research, or humanitarian efforts year after year for centuries. This exemplifies a majestic patience, where time is explicitly leveraged to ensure a continuous stream of support, transforming an initial contribution into an eternal wellspring of impact. The ultimate dividend of cultivating such a patient and allowing relationship with time is, perhaps, the most invaluable, the gift of future optionality. By strategically building a robust financial foundation that grows silently in the background, you are not merely accumulating wealth for its own sake. You are, in essence, creating a runway, a broad expanse of freedom and choice for your future self. This allows you profound liberty to pursue passions not out of necessity, but out of genuine desire. To say yes to life-altering experiences without financial constraint, or to say no to opportunities that don't align with your deepest values. What might it feel like to build such a sanctuary of choice, knowing that your past prudence, combined with time's unceasing work, has paved the way for a life lived on your own terms? Another crucial layer to this understanding involves recognizing that true financial resilience is often forged in periods of calm, not crisis. It's during the unremarkable stretches, when the markets are stable and the economy hums along, that consistent contributions and strategic patience yield their greatest results. Much like a deep reservoir slowly filling during steady rainfall, these unassuming periods allow for quiet accumulation. When unforeseen storms arise, those who have allowed time to work its magic in the good times find themselves far better equipped to weather adversity, having built a reserve that can withstand turbulent currents without panic or rash decisions. This is a profound testament to the power of unwavering trust in time, even when its work appears imperceptible. Thus, as you drift further into the tranquil embrace of this bedtime story, contemplate the quiet revolution that occurs when you consciously choose to partner with time. It is a partnership where you provide the initial intention and consistent, albeit sometimes small, inputs and time, in its infinite wisdom and ceaseless flow, takes on a mantle of exponential growth and unwavering progress. This isn't about magical thinking, but about observing and aligning with an inherent principle of the universe. What silent engines of growth are you willing to set in motion, allowing them to diligently build your future as you simply rest and allow the world to turn? Now, as your thoughts gently deepen into this quiet evening, consider an intriguing counterpoint to the idea of time as a benevolent force of growth, the often overlooked yet profound impact of delay. While we've spoken of time's power to expand value when given space, it conversely exacts a silent, compounding cost when opportunities for initiation are postponed. Imagine a small seed of an idea, a nascent plan to begin cultivating a new skill or setting aside a modest sum. The delay in planting that seed isn't merely a pause, it's a forfeiture of all the unseen growth that would have occurred during that stagnant period. Each passing day without action represents an irretrievable loss of compounding potential, a phantom harvest that never materializes. This underscores a different facet of time's relentless march. It punishes inaction as much as it rewards judicious patience. Moreover, a deeper understanding reveals that the trajectory of exponential growth is not linear. Picture a snowball rolling down a long, gentle slope. In its initial descent, it gathers only a thin layer of fresh snow, its increase in size barely perceptible. Yet as it continues its journey, its circumference expands, and with each rotation, it captures exponentially more snow, transforming into a colossal sphere with astonishing speed in its later stages. Similarly, the most significant portion of compounded financial growth often manifests not in the early years, but in the latter half of an extended timeline. This phenomenon powerfully illustrates why early initiation, however modest, becomes an indispensable advantage. It's about securing a place on that slope, allowing the invisible forces of accrual to take hold, ensuring that when the curve of growth steepens dramatically, your resources are already positioned to ride that accelerating wave. This perspective then shifts our focus from immediate gratification to profound satisfaction of strategic foresight. It cultivates a unique kind of mental fortitude, enabling you to derive immense comfort from the knowledge that your assets are quietly building momentum, even if their visible growth seems incremental at first. Embracing this long-term vision requires a mastery over short-term impulses, the urge to intervene, to chase fleeting market fads, or to measure progress purely by daily fluctuations. Instead, you develop an inner resilience, a deep-seated trust in the underlying mechanisms of time and value creation. This behavioral patience itself becomes a formidable asset, shielding you from reactive decisions that often erode long-term gains. Furthermore, consider how this quiet cultivation of patience and trust fundamentally alters your relationship with future uncertainty. When you recognize that time is diligently working on your behalf, steadily expanding your financial horizons, the anxieties of tomorrow diminish. You develop a sense of security not dependent on volatile market pronouncements or economic forecasts, but on the immutable principle of compound growth. This frees your energy from worry, allowing you to invest it more fully in the present moment, knowing that the seeds of your future prosperity are silently maturing. The profound peace this brings is perhaps the most valuable return of all. Indeed, this isn't merely about personal wealth accumulation. It's about the conscious decision to build enduring scaffolding for your life, an infrastructure that supports not only your aspirations, but also potentially those of generations to come. By consistently placing resources where time can amplify them, you create a legacy that transcends your immediate needs, fostering a continuity of opportunity. The quiet conviction that your efforts today, however small, are building something resilient and expansive for the distant future can infuse your daily actions with a profound sense of purpose. It highlights how the seemingly passive act of allowing time to work is, in fact, one of the most proactive and impactful strategies for sustained well-being and generational impact. This understanding transforms your quiet moments, including these serene reflections, into fertile ground for a truly empowered future. Now, allowing your awareness to gently deepen further, reflect upon profound mental liberation that arises when you truly embrace time as an unwavering collaborator. In a world often propelled by frenetic urgency and a relentless pursuit of immediate returns, choosing a path of patient observation and strategic allowance cultivates an inner calm that is itself an invaluable asset. This isn't merely about financial gains. It's about reclaiming a sense of control over your emotional landscape. When you cease to be a slave to the clock's ticking and instead become its conscious partner, the anxiety surrounding market fluctuations or the speed of your personal progress begin to recede. A quiet confidence takes root, nurtured by the understanding that a steadfast trajectory, rather than a frantic sprint, leads to the most enduring destinations. Consider, for a moment, how this deliberate shift in perspective reframes the very act of decision-making. Instead of succumbing to the pressure of instantaneous outcomes, you gain the clarity to evaluate choices through the lens of long-term impact. This thoughtful pause allows for a deeper analysis, an ability to discern between fleeting trends and fundamental value, whether in personal investments, career transitions, or even significant life choices. By allowing the full scope of potential consequences to unfurl in your mind's eye over an extended period, you move beyond reactive responses, instead fostering a proactive, measured approach that consistently yields superior results. What might it feel like to always approach your most significant decisions with this expansive, unhurried wisdom? Furthermore, this cultivated patience fosters a remarkable resilience against the inevitable downturns and unexpected reversals that life presents. When your strategies are anchored in the unwavering flow of time, temporary setbacks are viewed not as catastrophic failures, but as transient currents within a larger, benevolent tide. A market correction, a project delay, or an unforeseen personal challenge becomes less daunting when you possess the deep-seated conviction that, given enough time, underlying value and growth will ultimately prevail. This mental fortitude prevents rash, panic-driven actions that often amplify losses, instead promoting a steady hand and a calm resolve. Moreover, a significant and often overlooked aspect of this temporal alliance is the subtle art of intelligent non-interference. Just as a master gardener understands that constant digging around the roots of a plant can hinder its growth, there are moments when the most productive action is simply to step back and allow natural processes to unfold. This isn't passive neglect, but a conscious, informed decision to trust the systems and strategies you've put in place. It acknowledges that certain forms of prosperity require incubation, a quiet period where internal mechanics operate beyond immediate observation, steadily transforming potential into reality. This disciplined restraint prevents premature harvesting or unnecessary disruption, allowing assets, be they financial, intellectual, or relational, to fully mature and consolidate their value. Consequently, as you rest here, allowing this narrative to gently weave its way into your consciousness, consider profound peace that stems from aligning your inner rhythm with the universe's own unhurried tempo. Your life, much like a vast, fertile landscape, thrives when cultivated with intention, but also when entrusted to the patient, persistent work of time. Each moment of quiet contemplation, each night of restorative sleep, is not a pause in your progress, but an integral part of it unfolding. It's an embrace of profound truth that sometimes the most powerful force you can unleash upon your financial future, and indeed upon your overall well-being, is the simple, unwavering power of time itself. working tirelessly in the background, even as you find solace in this deep, calming peace. As these reflections gently permeate our consciousness, weaving through quiet moments of this evening, a profound and pervasive pattern begins to reveal itself, transcending the specific echoes of history and the observable phenomena of the natural world. An unseen architect, we find, is perpetually at work, diligently crafting value and complexity, not through hurried or visible intervention, but through the sheer, unwavering persistence of duration itself. It is a silent, yet immensely powerful engine, operating continuously beneath the surface of our immediate concerns, transforming the embryonic into the robust, the modest into the magnificent. This ubiquitous current, often overlooked amidst the clamor of daily demands, subtly underscores a fundamental principle concerning the genesis of enduring prosperity. This inherent capacity for quiet, background growth compels a significant reevaluation of our active engagement with the world. It invites us not towards an increase in frantic effort, but towards a more sophisticated and strategic partnership with the very fabric of time. The most fertile ground for sustained expansion, it consistently appears, is often cultivated not by incessant tinkering or anxious oversight, but by the quiet confidence that certain intelligent setups, when initiated and wisely positioned, possess an intrinsic, self-accelerating momentum. This nuanced understanding effectively shifts our focus from the exhaustion of perpetual doing to profound leverage inherent in judicious allowing, empowering us to trust in the deliberate unfolding of well-laid foundations and patient processes. The cumulative wisdom gleaned from these observations points towards a trajectory that, while often imperceptible in its formative stages, culminates in astonishingly powerful manifestations. Much like the gradual erosion that carves a majestic canyon, or the intricate development that transforms a simple blueprint into a complex marvel, enduring value accrues through consistent, incremental inputs, nurtured by the passage of extended periods. This progression isn't merely about quantitative increase. It's profoundly about the deep-seated resilience and expansive optionality that are forged when one's endeavors are aligned with this unwavering flow. It cultivates a robust buffer against life's inevitable fluctuations and simultaneously unveils broader vistas for future exploration, signaling a profound shift from a mindset driven by scarcity to one rooted in an abundance gently cultivated by the universe's own steady pulse. Reflecting on this journey through ancient insights and modern realizations, one cannot help but perceive a burgeoning sense of mental liberation, a gentle, yet significant unburdening from the relentless pressure of immediate returns. This deepened understanding fosters a distinctive inner calm, fundamentally transforming our relationship with both effort and expectation. It bestows a clarity for a more discerning pause, allowing us to view our aspirations and challenges through an expansive, long-term lens, rather than the often constricting aperture of the present moment. The profound realization that so much can quietly unfurl, mature, and strengthen, even as we intentionally retreat into the stillness of our own minds or the restorative embrace of deep sleep, irrevocably reshapes our very experience of existence. It compels us to cultivate a tranquil trust, an unwavering belief in the unseen forces diligently working on our behalf, patiently bringing forth the fruits of our planting. Therefore, as this narrative gently guides you towards deeper repose and quiet contemplation, consider that your moments of stillness are far from passive. On the contrary, they are an integral and vital component of this grand, universal design, a crucial, often unseen, incubation period where the seed sown during your active hours can absorb, integrate, and meticulously prepare for their eventual, bountiful bloom. The very act of allowing yourself to unwind, to release the insistent demands of the day, becomes a powerful affirmation of this central principle, that some of life's most profound expansions and most enduring forms of prosperity emerge not from strenuous, incessant effort, but from intelligent design harmonized with profound, patient, and ceaseless work of time itself. This continuous, silent alchemy, ever present and ever working, now brings us to the very threshold of a timeless wisdom, ready to be fully embraced as you surrender to the night. As the gentle currents of the story settle within you, and the evening deepens its embrace, we arrive at a space not of finality, but profound understanding. The journey we've shared, through the whispers of ancient wisdom and the quiet mechanics of modern growth, converges on a single luminous truth, that the relentless, ceaseless flow of time is not merely a backdrop to our lives, but an active, benevolent force, silently shaping and expanding the very landscape of our existence. It is a grand architect, tirelessly at work, transforming intention into outcome, potential into reality, even when our conscious minds are at rest. This realization invites a gentle yet powerful shift in perspective, moving us away from the ceaseless urgency that often dictates our days. It suggests that while diligent effort and thoughtful planning are indispensable, their ultimate fruitfulness often relies on a patient, almost reverent, surrender to the unhurried rhythm of the universe. True prosperity, whether financial, intellectual, or spiritual, frequently blossoms not from a frantic struggle to control every variable, but from the intelligent act of planting seeds, be they insights, savings, or genuine connections, and then allowing the mutable forces of time to nurture their growth. It's a profound dance between conscious action and strategic non-interference, where the greatest accelerants are often found in the quiet moments of allowance. The paradox, then, reveals itself that our periods of stillness, of deep rest and tranquil contemplation, are far from passive. They are, in fact, incredibly fertile ground. While your body sleeps and your mind drifts, the seeds you have sown are not dormant. They are absorbing, integrating, and strengthening their roots. The systems you have set in motion, the wisdom you have gathered, and the relationships you have cultivated continue their silent work, compounding their value, gathering momentum, and preparing for a more abundant unfolding. This is a profound secret of those who understand time not as a fleeting commodity to be frantically spent, but as an ever-present ally, diligently building your future in the quiet hours. Embracing this perspective offers profound liberation from the anxieties that often cling to pursuit of growth. It bestows a deep-seated confidence that transcends immediate fluctuations and perceived setbacks. When you cultivate a relationship with time as a steadfast partner, you gain an inner resilience, knowing that the overarching current of progress, when given space, will inevitably carry you forward. This unburdens your spirit, freeing mental and emotional energy that was once consumed by worry, allowing you to invest it more fully in the richness of your present moments, to savor the beauty of simplicity, and to find peace in the certainty that a powerful, unseen process is always working in your favor. As you now prepare to surrender fully to the night, perhaps feeling a new sense of calm wash over you, carry this understanding into your quietude. Recognize that your rest is not an interruption of progress, but a vital ingredient in its most profound manifestation. The true practice begins now, as you allow yourself to truly rest, to trust in the inexorable flow of the world, and to experience firsthand how, even in the deepest stillness, the quiet engines of prosperity continue their steady, unwavering work. May your night be imbued with this peaceful assurance, and may you awaken with a renewed sense of clarity and purpose, ready to embrace the gentle, yet powerful, unfolding of your abundant future.